The season finale of Department Q delivered a breathtaking conclusion to the mystery that has haunted Edinburgh's cold case basement for the entire season. What happened to Prosecutor Merritt Lingard? In a stunning revelation, Detective Carl Morck and his unorthodox team discovered that Merritt has been alive all along, imprisoned for 4 years in a hyperbaric chamber by Lyle Jennings, a man whose own childhood trauma created the perfect twisted prison for his victim. The episode masterfully connected the dots between past and present trauma, while setting up intriguing possibilities for future seasons. The finale opens with haunting interview footage of a young Lyle Jennings, describing the abuse he suffered as a child. In disturbing detail, he recalls how his mother would lock him and his brother Harry inside a hyperbaric chamber as punishment, sometimes for extended periods. Sometimes she just put us in there and go and get pissed and forget we were in there, young Lyle explains, revealing the psychological torture that formed the foundation of his disturbed mind. This opening sequence immediately establishes the thematic connection between childhood trauma and adult violence that will drive the entire episode. At Department Q headquarters, Rose delivers crucial information that pulls the case into focus. Lyle Jennings once locked another boy in a hyperbaric chamber for 3 days when he was just 15 years old. The team realizes this could be the key to Merritt Lingard's disappearance. What makes this revelation especially chilling is the timing. The building where Lyle's father's business, Shorebird Ocean Systems, SOS, a clever narrative clue, was located, had been declared a hazardous materials site approximately 4 years ago, coinciding perfectly with Merritt's disappearance. Hardy points out the dark irony. Seems like Lyle was born bent the wrong way. First time he got sent to Godhaven was for stalking a boy from school. The kid's parents found him sleeping on the floor beside the kid's bed. Lyle broke in during the night. He was 12. The investigation reveals that Lyle's psychology is fundamentally tied to his deceased brother Harry. In a disturbing revelation, the team learns that Lyle believes his dead brother Harry is still alive, and has been stalking a young man named Sam Hague whom he believes is Harry. This delusional behavior connects directly to the Lingard family. Lyle blames Merritt for his brother's death following a break-in at the Lingard home years ago. William Lingard, Merritt's brother, positively identifies Lyle as the intruder from that incident, not Harry as previously believed. This clarification of the past unravels the motive, revenge against Merritt for what Lyle perceives as her role in his brother's death. The episode's most heart-stopping sequence begins when Carl and Akram travel to the Isle of Moor to investigate Lyle's property. Inside the decrepit building that once housed his father's deep-sea exploration business, they discover video monitoring equipment showing Merritt Lingard alive, inside a hyperbaric chamber. The moment Carl spots her on the monitor delivers one of the series' most shocking moments. After 4 years, the missing prosecutor is discovered still alive, trapped in a hellish prison designed to torment her not just physically but psychologically. A looping recording of Merritt's own words about justice plays endlessly. I firmly believe that those who commit violent crime don't ever truly get away with it. The court might set them free, but be it conscience, karma, or the universe, they are ultimately, one way or another, punished for what they've done. The rescue attempt provides the episode's most tense moments. As Carl and Akram try to figure out how to safely extract Merritt from the chamber, where pressure has dangerously increased to 7.5 atmospheres, Lyle appears and shoots Carl in the arm with a shotgun. A desperate struggle ensues, with Akram ultimately subduing Lyle while Carl works to stabilize the chamber's pressure. The technical details about the dangers of sudden depressurization add authentic suspense. If they simply open the chamber, the change in pressure would kill Merritt instantly. Hardy provides crucial information over the phone. 9 atmospheres and the oxygen becomes toxic. You need to do something. We leave her, she'll die. We get her out, she'll die. When they finally extract Merritt from her 4-year prison, the scene is emotionally devastating. She's severely dehydrated, traumatized, and confused, yet still alive, a testament to her incredible will to survive. The medical team transports her via helicopter, beginning what will certainly be a long recovery process. The close-up shots of Merritt's face as she breathes fresh air for the first time in years convey a mixture of disbelief, relief, and lingering trauma that words alone couldn't capture. In the aftermath of Merritt's rescue and Lyle's arrest, the episode takes time to resolve several season-long character arcs. Carl, now sporting an arm bandage from his shotgun wound, visits the Lord Advocate armed with leverage. In a meeting dripping with tension and unspoken threats, Carl essentially blackmails the Lord Advocate regarding an ethical breach during the Graham Finch trial. Using this leverage, Carl secures a doubled budget for Department Q and, in a moment that shows his growing respect for his team, pushes for Akram's promotion to Detective Inspector. Loath as I am to admit it, Carl tells the Lord Advocate about Akram. He's a good copper, better than most. For a character who began the season as prickly and isolated as Carl, this gesture of support for his colleague represents significant personal growth. The episode's emotional core comes when Merritt, now recovered enough to speak, visits Department Q to thank the team that saved her life. Though she specifically wants to thank Carl, he's notably absent, having taken a little time off, as Moira explains. Merritt reveals her plans to return to Moore with her brother William. I'm gonna take William home to Moore. Spend some time with my dad. We've been talking. But there's still a lot left to say. This emphasis on family reconciliation provides a moving counterpoint to the fragmented, damaged family relationships we've seen with Lyle Jennings, suggesting healing is possible even after extreme trauma. The finale's closing moments set up intriguing possibilities for future seasons. In a brief but significant scene, Moira approaches Hardy with a new case file, Something for You, suggesting Department Q will continue its work with or without Carl's direct involvement. Hardy's reaction, a simple "what the fuck?" upon opening the file indicates another compelling case awaits. Meanwhile, Carl is seen sitting alone at home, still processing the events of the harrowing case. The song Welcome Home by Radical Face plays poignantly over the closing sequence, its lyrics about nightmares and homecoming providing a perfect thematic complement to the episode's themes of imprisonment, freedom, and healing. What makes the finale particularly satisfying is how it balances resolving the immediate mystery while deepening our understanding of the psychological dynamics at play. The revelation that Lyle kept Merritt alive in the same type of chamber he was punished in as a child establishes a perfect psychological symmetry. As a child, Lyle's mother would manipulate the chamber's lighting to disorient him about time passing. As an adult, he inflicts this same disorientation on Merritt, trapping her in a temporal limbo where days, weeks, and years blur together. The hyperbaric chamber becomes a powerful symbol of how trauma can be passed from one generation to the next, Lyle transforms from victim to perpetrator, using the tool of his own torture to inflict suffering on others. The episode also cleverly resolves the ambiguity around the Lingard family's past. Through William's drawings and flashbacks, we learn that it wasn't Harry Jennings who attacked William years ago, as previously believed, but Lyle, a crucial detail that was misunderstood or deliberately obscured by the local police. This revelation explains Lyle's obsession with Merritt. He blamed her for his brother's death while hunting the intruder, when in fact Lyle himself was responsible for putting his brother in danger. This tangled web of guilt, projection, and delusion forms the psychological underpinning of Lyle's crimes and adds depth to what might otherwise have been a simpler villain. In the episode's most emotionally resonant scene, after her rescue, Merritt takes an elevator ride where she briefly encounters Carl. Though no words are exchanged between them, their momentary connection speaks volumes, survivor recognizing rescuer in a fleeting but meaningful acknowledgement. This silent interaction underscores the series' nuanced approach to human connections, suggesting that sometimes the most profound communications require no words at all. The finale also leaves several intriguing threads unresolved. The shooting of Carl and his colleagues at Leith Park, which was introduced in the first episode, remains partially unsolved. Though we learned that P.C. Anderson had falsified information about the wellness check, the identity of the actual shooter remains unclear. Similarly, the full nature of Carl's leverage over the Lord Advocate is only hinted at, suggesting political and ethical complications that could resurface in future seasons. These deliberate loose ends provide rich territory for the series to explore moving forward. Department Q stands out in the crowded field of crime dramas by focusing not just on solving cases, but on exploring how trauma shapes both criminals and those who pursue them. In this finale, we see the culmination of that approach. The hyperbaric chamber serves as both literal prison and metaphor for how past trauma can hold us captive. For Merritt, escape from the chamber represents not just physical freedom, but the possibility of healing and reconnection. For Department Q, solving this impossible cold case validates their unconventional methods and secures their future. And for viewers, The resolution provides both a satisfying conclusion to the season's central mystery and a thoughtful meditation on how we might break the cycles that transform yesterday's victims into tomorrow's perpetrators.